My wife drove 10 hours to spend the weekend with another man. Update, I have a meeting set up with a local divorce attorney tomorrow to advise me on next steps. You are all wonderful people. I will keep you updated on the process. And #X200B. So I'm very new to all of this, but I feel like I have a pretty crazy story to share, and I need some help from the people that have had to unfortunately deal with this type of thing as well. I apologize beforehand for the wall of text. Background info. I am a 39 meters, my spouse is 36F. We've been together for 16-ish years, married almost 14 years. We have 2 boys, 12 and 9. My wife and I have always gotten along very well in the past. There's obviously been arguments or disagreements, but we never fight. We have always been able to communicate pretty effectively. My wife is a hairstylist by trade, and I am a nurse. She was also an educator for a major brand name and really enjoyed what she did. For me, I have continued to grow in my career, and about 4 to 5 years ago, I accepted a director role. During this time I was making good money, and since my wife is a hairstylist, typical work hours are evenings and weekends. She was missing out on a lot with our boys, so we made the decision for her to be a stay-at-home mom for the boys, but keep her education role because she truly loved it. Then COVID hit, and no more education job now either. Once COVID slowed a bit, I took another promotion. So now I'm making really good money, and we're not concerned that she isn't working. Then boom, September of 2020 our oldest is diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic. This was a huge lifestyle change for us, and ultimately caused a lot of stress, anxiety, depression for both of us. So over the past few years, we have slowly grew apart. Date nights disappeared totally for the next 2 years. We were afraid of leaving him with other people. But we're getting much better with that now. We both became distant to each other and kinda became roommates during this time instead of partners. During all of this, I am 100% accepting of the fact that I wasn't the best husband. I kind of left her on an island. And I wish I could change it, but unfortunately, I can't. I was there physically, but I wasn't there emotionally. Since she wasn't working, I expected her to care for our son's blood sugar during the night since I had to be up early for work. I expected her to do the household chores during the day. On the flip side, she began to resent me for not helping around the house or helping as much at night with crazy blood sugars. For a couple that had once been great at communicating, we no longer communicated at all. We'd high five at the door with busy work schedules and super busy sports schedules with our boys, and stop taking time for each other. During all of this, my wife began playing a video game with our boys called Fortnite. She really enjoyed it and started playing even when the boys were not. She would play late at night after I went to bed, and she would stay up, sometimes all night, playing while she monitored our son's blood sugar. It got to the point that she would literally be playing when I got up, got home from work, and went to bed. With this game, she created an online group of friends. And over the past 6 months this group of 5 to 6 people would play together all the time. This is where the infidelity begins. She befriended this one guy in particular. I didn't this out until later, but she was chatting with him on Instagram regularly. She sent him a gift in the mail. And then she made up this huge lie to go visit him. She told me one of her friends from her days as an educator was opening a new salon and was wondering if my wife could come for the weekend and help with her grand opening. My wife told me this story, and having zero reason not to believe or trust her, I was totally okay with it. She drove 10 hours away to spend the weekend with this guy she met online. For whatever reason, while she was gone I got onto our iCloud account and noticed a bunch of recently deleted photos. My heart sank when I saw them. Nothing sexual, but I now knew what was happening. She essentially shut her phone off the entire trip, and barely communicated with me or the boys while she was gone for 4 days. Ultimately, she came home, lied about the trip, and I confronted her about what was really going on. It took her a few hours, but she finally came clean about what she did. She is adamant that it was solely a friendship, that nothing sexual happened, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. She left and spent the weekend with another man. The trip happened about 6 weeks ago. After the initial shock, we actually had some great conversations. We opened up about how we ended up where we are, how we got to this place in our relationship. It truly was the best conversation we had had in years. During all of this, she never tried to downplay what she did. She took 100% responsibility for her actions, and through all of that we decided that we were going to try to make it work. We both said that we loved each other, and that divorce is not what either of us wanted. I also have started seeing a therapist during this time as well. If not, I think I would lose my mind. The one thing that I asked her to do after all of this was to please block 100% of contact with this guy. She agrees. Ultimately, she deleted Fortnite. And she deleted all of her social media apps. Fast forward to 2 to 3 weeks ago. We are driving to my son's baseball game, and I notice she has Snapchat on her phone. I look at her and say, "Is that Snapchat?" She quickly denies it. Once we get to the game, I walk up behind her and she is logging out of Snapchat. So I just walk away. She finds me, apologizes, and hands me her phone and begs me to look through it, but I'm not interested at this point. Later that night, we argue about it and I tell her to get out of the house. Ultimately, cooler heads prevail and she stays. Fast forward to the next weekend. I decided to stalk this guy's TikTok account, and who do I see as one of his followers? My wife. This leads to another huge fight where I tell her she needs to go and I want a divorce. We slept in separate beds that night, and again, I didn't pull the trigger and push the issue of her leaving. Now fast forward to just a few days ago. I bust her playing Fortnite with this guy online. I actually look at her phone later that night as well and see a message to one of her other online friends that says, "I'm so ridiculous. I wish, would get on so we could all play together." Another huge fight. This time I say I'm done. I pack all my shit and leave and spend the night at my brother's place. Ultimately I'm sleeping back in our house. We had tickets for my youngest son to attend his first ever MLB game Saturday night, and we had amusement park tickets for today. So for the boys, we all did these things together. We had another long talk this morning. She said that the only way this works is if I get my anger outbursts under control, which I agree, it is not healthy in any capacity. And I stopped snooping through her phone, even though she told me she was an open book and left her phone unlocked so I could look if I wanted to. So I did get a hold of my therapist today and he referred me to an anger management group session, which I signed up for this Wednesday night. She told me again today that she would cut him out and she would stop playing Fortnite because it wasn't worth it. She said she wanted to go to marriage counseling, and she still says she doesn't want to get divorced. I woke up 3 hours ago, 2 a.m., and walked downstairs, and she's sitting on the couch playing Fortnite. Granted, she wasn't playing with that guy, but I bet she would have been if he would have been online too. She literally told me this morning that she was never going to play again, and here we are. I am done fighting over it. I just told her good night and walked away. I'm not going to lie. I have been very overbearing towards her for the past 6 weeks as well since she has returned. Obviously, I have lost all trust in her. I want to know every move she makes, where she's going, who she is going with. This has been really frustrating for her as well. And I get it, but I don't know how to get past this part of it. All I know is if there is any chance of making it past this, I have to be able to step back a bit, but it has been really hard for me to figure out how to do that. Or, if I even should. So, I'm not too sure how this will end up, but I think I have a pretty good feeling of where we are heading. I hate it too, because I truly do still love her, and I think that she really does still love me, but I don't know if we are in love anymore. I'll update as we go, but not sure if counseling will be able to help us at this point. TLDR. My wife and I drift apart. She makes a guy friend playing online games. She lies about a work trip and drives 10 hours away to spend the weekend with him. She says she doesn't want a divorce and has agreed that marriage counseling is needed to help us, but continues to lie to me and refuses to completely cut interaction with this guy.
She promised not to play Fortnite. Not a few hours later, she's sitting on the couch playing Sure What You Were Looking For. This is a person who can be trusted. I'm pretty sure she didn't drive 10 hours just to be friends, or play Fortnite.
She has stepped outside the marriage. Tough situation, and yeah, you don't drive 10 hours to spend a weekend with a dude just to talk. Her actions and lies are clear and speak louder than her words. She must have checked out of the marriage. Perhaps she just can't bring herself to leave. She wants to be single. Give it to her. Let her read this post.
You have to wake up from denial, mate. There's a reason why she didn't tell where she was heading to. She didn't drive 10 hours just to play Fortnite, hang out, him, and now continues to lie to you. You said she took 100% responsibility when you talked, but her actions speak louder than words. She's continuing contact with app, and doesn't care about your feelings. She doesn't respect or care of you, judged by these actions. You're being used as a doormat, and allowing it as well.
Actions have consequences. She isn't going to stop until you finally make her understand that.
Every single boundary you set in your relationship, she breaks. Every promise she makes to you, she breaks. Adults don't drive 10 hours and cut off all communication to your family just to hang out with someone. Good luck.
She didn't drive 10 hours to just talk to this guy. They had. I would have already been on the phone with a lawyer. I would have also packed her ass and told her she can drive another 10 hours and stay with him.
She repeatedly lied to you and repeatedly chose him over you. She blames you for not trusting her and snooping, but literally every single time you find her lying. Get a lawyer, gather all the evidence you can get. A is toxic.
She has proven to be a good liar. Like others have said, she did not drive 10 hours to hang out. She is so brazen to violate agreed actions regarding social media, and hands her phone. That is manipulation. Then she is angry when you want to check her phone. My guess is that her phone was not clean at that time. She plays games hours after promising not to. And when you get frustrated and that leads to anger, she blames you for the anger. Look up DARVO. All of her actions are manipulation.
You knew he cheated on you and keeps on prioritizing this guy over you. So, when will you prioritize yourself?
If it were me and I jumped in, here is how I would handle it from this point. Today I would call attorneys and set up a time to meet with them. I would file for divorce as soon as I meet them. I would have her served at home. When the attorney tells me she is being served, I would call her parents and mine, and let them know I filed for divorce, why I filed, referencing her infidelity, what I have asked her to do, and her weekend trip, naming the guy. When I get home I would ask her to leave. She does not have to, but I would tell her she no longer has access to the master bedroom, and if she wants to be more comfortable she can move in with her boyfriend. Next I would change the Wi-Fi password, and remove her cell phone from my plan. I would take half the money out, do the account and close them out, and hand her the checks and say this is half of the accounts. I would make her life feel the strain of you not finding her. And I would tell her I am not funding your affair. Until she takes drastic actions I would not even consider reconciliation, and I would tell her that she with you will explain to the kids why you are not sleeping in the bedroom with me, and I want you to name your boyfriend to them and state he is your boyfriend. That we will be getting a divorce because you chose your boyfriend over me. When she asks why and begs you to stop, look at her and say, until you stop it all, give me 100% access to your phone, with a child protection program on it so I can read everything you type. I will stop this divorce. Only until you decide you chose me and our family over him, and this addiction you have will I even consider it. And that will be shown through your actions, not your empty words.
I think you're stuck in the denial stage of your situation. She did not drive 10 hours to spend a weekend with this man just to talk. They had that she hasn't been truthful and confessed to that is a problem. Also consider that the one condition you had was for to cut contact with him, and she has failed to do it. Instead she has constantly lied to you. I'm sorry, but I don't think your marriage is salvageable. You need to find a lawyer and start preparing for divorce.
Your wife is gaslighting the out of you. She is please leave for your own sanity.
First, I am so sorry this is happening to you. I know how difficult this is to deal with. Having the rug pulled out from under your marriage like this is soul-crushing. You need to be honest with yourself. There is no way that your wife traveled 10 and spent 4 days with this man without there being something physical. Long as she continues lying and maintains any form of contact with this man, there is no hope of reconciliation. Get counseling for yourself immediately if you can. Your wife's actions are taking a toll on you. You have every right to be suspicious and overbearing. She's become involved with another man. She's lying, and she hasn't truly ended contact with him. This is a tremendously heavy load to carry, and you need help navigating your emotions. Marriage counseling with her at this point isn't going to help. Not if she's going to continue doing what she's. Be kind to yourself. We betrayed spouses always seem to put blame on ourselves regarding how we let things in our marriages slide. There were many things that could have been done before it got this two of you in the marriage. Despite all that happened, only one of you maintained your vows.
She knows you will not leave her, and you are just all talk.
How on earth have you ended up in a situation where she repeatedly lies and breaks her word and you think you're the bad guy for snooping and getting angry? Newsflash, you have a right to snoop and be angry. I'd be furious. The only way this works is if you stop snooping. Through her phone? No. The only way this works is if she stops being a CT and starts respecting she slept with him. No one drives 10 hours solely for friendship. Until she admits it, there is no reconciliation. Did you get yourself tested for STDs? Did you ask her to? You keep threatening divorce but never go through with it. You keep setting boundaries, she keeps crossing them and you don't hold her accountable. And now she's worn you down so much that not only are you not enforcing those boundaries, you're apologizing for having the temerity to set them in the first place. She has zero reason to change anything because she's not suffering the consequences of her like this, and I can guarantee you that soon another friend will open a salon they need help with and she'll be off spending another 4 days at this. You want to save this marriage, then you have to be prepared to end it. So contact a lawyer tomorrow. Have divorce papers drawn up and serve her. When she's served, tell her she has a limited amount of time to convince you that she's cut this guy off, this time for good, to tell you the full extent of her infidelity, and to convince you that she wants to stay married to you. And unless she does those things, the divorce will go ahead.
Maybe they were playing pillow fort in the night?
Nope. I still would never be with her. While they were married, she drove 10 hours to bang another dude. Full stop. Marriage over.
Greater than while they were married she drove 10 hours to bang another dude. Bingo. This isn't a long-distance EA where she can go NC with him and do therapy and marriage counseling. She made the decision to drive 10 hours to meet him and have. There's no coming back from that. Trust is 100% gone at this point.
Years ago there was a post about a cheating wife where she said they met up for someone very abruptly and poignantly said, "Adults don't kiss. They that ass stuck with me and should also stick with op."
She's gaslighting him so bad he's getting help for an issue he doesn't have anger issues. He's reacting to her constant lies and manipulation. At this rate, she's going to convince him he's mad.
Greater than, adults don't kiss. They used to be a very commonly used phrase on this sub. If you've been texting all hot and spicy to a person for months, eventually leading to jeopardizing your marriage with a massive lie about driving 10 hours to help a friend's business, y'all ain't sitting around talking about Fortnite for an entire weekend. A weekend where she didn't even respond to calls and texts from her children. Truth be told, even after a 10-hour car ride back home she had trouble walking after that weekend with him.